We are live. What's up, everybody? Man, something about food that brings joy to everybody, I promise. Look at that. Oh. Look at this, guys. Oh, my goodness. A burrito. Mi burrito sabanero. This is mine.
Those are the tacos, I think. Yeah.
Check this out, guys. We checked this out at Target.
It's like a new flavor or something.
A new flavor. Poppy. This flavor is cream soda. And then my baby's got the raspberry rosé. Pick these up at Target. Oh, that smells great.
Yep.
Some things that I can't live without is some green salsa.
I had hit this one from you because.
Ah, look at her, look at her. I got her some cheese just in case if you want to try some little piece of cheese. Take a little bite. Man, I'm in fat boy status. And then the cold always like, it makes me hungry. I know I'm fat, but.
You're not gonna. Préstame las cucharas.
Oh, that's mine. If you don't got it, you don't got it.
I was just gonna use it for the thing.
Just use your fingers.
Here.
So my baby's gonna lead today. She's gonna say what we're gonna be talking about. Go for it, baby.
You can't do that. How am I gonna lead on the day that? Never mind. Guys, we went to Sam's earlier to pick up like my job's office order, and Sam's was ridiculously packed. We did pick up, but actually, can you hold for a second? Like, one quick second. Can you tell them what we happened?
I'm just gonna wait for you.
No, just tell them. I'm right here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait
Baby.
for you. Yeah, Sam was like stupid busy. I don't know if y'all heard about that freeze that's coming. There's like some, or it might be snow. It's gonna be some rain and snow. A little bit of both. You guys ready for that? You guys went shopping for that yet?
But I thought the snow and stuff wasn't going to be until Thursday. So I don't know why people are going to the store now. I don't know. I heard it was going to get, like, temperatures were going to drop and stuff, but I don't watch the news much. So I didn't know there was like a super bad cold front that it was going to be, like,
Cheers,
we needed
gang.
to buy all that stuff. But we're doing pickup, but he wanted to look at some of the active wear to see if they had anything different. We got lucky when we got there because we kind of went one time around and it was packed, and then we found a parking spot. But then
Hey, this is pretty good. Try that.
we got off and the lines, like every checkout line was like ridiculously long. Well, it is good. And when we were on our way over there, my mom had called me. And she was like, what are you doing? And I told her we were headed to Sam's. And she said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you see if they have like the big carton of eggs? Because I went yesterday and they didn't have any. She's like, if they do, get it for me and I'll pay you back.
Oh, man.
There was no eggs, nothing. We ended up, since we had the pickup order, we were just going to go pay. We did the scan and go, which saves you a lot of time.
If you're at Sam's and those lines are like crazy long, or you gotta go somewhere, you gotta be somewhere, and you just have like a small amount of items.
Well, even when you have a lot, like we've done it when we have like 20 items.
Yeah, make sure you download that app and do the scan and go, because that thing saves so much time.
Yeah, you literally just scan your items on the app and you pay with your card. And then when you're walking out, they give you like a QR code and you're good to go. But we did that. And the line for customer service was really long. So Oliver was just like, let's just go outside, find a pickup parking. Worst idea ever. Took forever for us to find a pickup parking, and it took forever for them to come and give us the order.
Oh, did
so
you tell
bad.
them about how we had to do it first? We had to park at a handicap.
Oh yeah, we kind of parked in a handicap. We were waiting there, like I told Oliver, if somebody that needs a parking spot needs it, we'll just move. But I think they only have 12 parking spots for pickup. They were all full. There was 2 cars that we saw that were not there for pickup. They were there shopping, and they were just parked in those areas. Those people should get towed.
Man.
You guys hear that wind? It is windy.
What would you recommend to couples to like improve their relationships? What are like the top 5 things you'd recommend they do?
I mean, I think a big one that everyone most all the time knows is like communication. But I think understanding how your partner thinks and processes things also. Like, you can't just go in it thinking that it's your way or the highway. Because everybody has a different perspective about things. Everybody has different feelings. And I feel like in situations like, if it is an argument or something, kind of put yourself in both people's shoes. Like, obviously if you're hurt, also think about, well, what is that person feeling and how would that person understand what I'm trying to communicate to them? I know with us, like, I'm a very, very emotional person. And it takes me a while. Like, if you do something to me and I care about you and, it hurts me. So it takes me a while to process things and I need to cool down. Like, at the beginning of our relationship, I would always tell her, like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. And he would try. And then that would just make arguments a lot worse because then I'm so upset. I'm saying things out of anger. I'm not processing what I'm trying to say or how that is going to affect him.
Look at that. Damn.
That.
Tacos de barbacoa, guys. What's your go-to tacos in meat that y'all pick?
Now he's learned to, like, I mean, it took us years, but now he knows, like, when I tell him, like, let me just cool down, like, let me process. Like, we're going to talk about it, but let me cool down a little bit and then we can pick up a conversation when I'm not upset. I think that understanding the other person's love language, I feel like we all have a different love language. The way he feels loved or he finds love and affection isn't necessarily how I do.
Do we even know our own love language?
I've learned that Oliver learns or processes love with, like, touch and affection. Like, I have to touch him, and, like, if we're anywhere, like, just a simple, rubbing his head or just touching him and, like, actually telling him, like, I love you, babe, or, like, kissing him. He likes that.
Hey, Cho, don't tell everybody because then everybody's gonna start touching me. But that's how he likes.
I mean, I'm not saying that I don't like to be touched, but I don't understand love like that. Like,
Carlos, tripa is amazing.
oh yeah,
Not that many people like tripa, but tripa is amazing, bro.
but that, like, because I'm not a very touchy person. Like, I don't like to be touched very much. Like, I like my own space. I think, what do you think my love language is? Like, how do you think I feel?
Man,
what makes me feel loved? See if you know.
I think your love language is through. I think yours is through like literally through language. Like, you gotta talk to you about it. Like, if you can wake up and I think your perfect day would be like making sure you're treated with like nice and emotion and respect and like, hey, you look beautiful today. Wow, like I can't believe you. Like I think hers is just language.
Mine's is just verbal. Like,
Yeah.
Mine is more verbal. Like, him telling me, like, you look nice today, or babe, I love you, or I like this about you, or like him just giving me that verbal stuff. Like, I that's how I find love, and if I'm happy like that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not like a touch, like, I don't like to be touched. I like my own space. I know sometimes, have you noticed, like, I'll be laying down in the bed, and he'll come, and he just wants to, like lay there and like touch my legs and like massage me or like hold me, and I'm just like,
And she's just like this, look. She starts swinging.
I'm just very like, but I've learned to, you know, understand that that's how he feels love. So
So if she starts
lay
swinging,
there.
I end it with her. I break up with her now.
I lay there and I just let him, you know, hold me and stuff, because I know that's how he likes to be loved. That's how he understands love. But I think those are the main two things. And more than anything, I guess trust. Like trusting that person, because I mean, to me, right, at the end of the day, if you don't trust a person, then there's no point of being there. Like, you're gonna be unhappy. You know, things happen sometimes, and you know, I think the worst thing you could do is lose that person's trust, because once you lose that trust, it's very hard to pick yourself back up from that. So I feel like trusting them, knowing the person you're with, and giving that person their own time. You know, we're a couple, everybody, you know, you have a couple, you have a partner, but knowing that that person sometimes needs, not necessarily they breathe, it's not like they're suffocating you, but they need their own time, whether it's with a sister, a brother, a cousin, a friend. You know, they just need that time apart, you know, to enjoy themselves and just have their alone time. And I mean, who knows, sometimes people just enjoy being by themselves. Like me, I'd be happy to just grab my purse and go to Target by myself. Like, I don't need a companion. You know, is it good to have one? Yeah. Like,
guys, I did not know that.
Me.
I'm gonna let her go to Target more often by herself.
You do know that. You know I love Target.
I do now. Hey, fun fact. I love avocados, but I'm actually
slightly allergic to them.
I'm allergic to them. I start swelling up and I start like having a raspy throat, and it gets difficult to breathe sometimes. But man, oh man, do I love avocados. Like, I could just eat this all day with salt and a tortilla or something. I agree with her. One thing to do, or one thing that couples can do to like grow is, man, the thing is, spend some time together, figure out something that you guys can do. But it's really hard because nowadays, what is there to do? Like, how many, like, especially where I live, you know, it's like just to give you an example, like.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Which one?
The serrano.
Oh, let me get a bite.
Ooh. It wasn't spicy at first. Mm-hmm. Like, it had a good kick to it, but now that I'm in the middle.
Yeah, I can't. But I guess, like, it's kind of hard to find out what they're into or what they like so you can spend time together. But, you know, you just gotta try different things. Like, go walk, go take a walk. You know, go enjoy some time. You know, ride bikes, buy bicycles, go do something together. The thing that's really hard is the cell phones, because we're just caught up on the cell phones for hours and hours that we're not really doing anything together. And if anything, you're just kind of getting influenced by whatever you're watching, and that's not going to help.
Sorry, go ahead.
How do you feel about the cell phones? Yeah, that's hot.
You're right.
I can't even talk right now.
When something's so spicy that you forget to think, that you can't think. That's how spicy that thing was. I mean, unfortunately, cell phones have become a very, like, in the time that we are now, we've become very dependable on them. You know, your email, work, emails, text messages, phone calls with people. That's the main form of communication with people nowadays. So unfortunately, we rely on them a lot. I do feel like, you know, us with each other, sometimes we catch ourselves like just too engaged with our phones that we're not even like we're literally laying next to each other, but we're not with each other. Like, I'm on my phone, he's on his phone, and that sucks sometimes, you know. So like a lot of times he's the one that kind of has to snap me into like reality and say like, hey.
And what I mean by that is like I'll grab her hand and snap her.
Someone's gonna call the cops on you because you're actually very physically abusive.
I'll get her leg and snap
But
it.
he'll like tell me like, hey babe, like let's watch a movie or something, or let's talk about something together, like let's get off our phones. Sometimes I'll get mad, but then I'm like, you know what, he's right.
Not sometimes, guys. All the time. If I'm blinking twice, I need help.
But then I'm like, you know what, he's right. So yeah, I think in social media, it's very easy to get like discouraged with your own life because you're seeing everything else that everybody's doing. And one thing that I had to really understand is not everything, like people don't post everything that's going on in their life. Of course, they're gonna post majority of like the good stuff that's happening. Because I went through like a little time where I was feeling very anxious and very like, not necessarily like depressed, but I was feeling very like low about myself. Like, you know, I was seeing a lot of people like, wow, they're doing this, they're doing that, and like, look where I'm at. And that's not good. You know, it's not good for your mental health.
Yeah,
So,
don't ever let social media like dictate, you know, how your life runs, because man, that's all we're doing is we're just trying to like impress somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
What have you noticed online that you would be like, oh man, like whose pages could you name?
I mean, mainly like influencers, right?
Yeah.
Like, usually these influencers just shopping every day and nice cars and like posting like happy with their coffee and like vlogging and stuff, and it's just like, you're like, damn, and here I am working every freaking day like a 9-to-5 job. For me, more like a 7-to-6 sometimes. But I mean, those are the kind of things that I would see sometimes. It was mainly like influencers. Because when I see my friends doing good, like people that I follow, like it makes me feel good. Like I'm like, dang, like, you know, these people are doing good. Like, you know, we're coming from like, I'm not saying necessarily nothing, but you know, people are coming up. That makes me feel good. But like influencers and seeing their lifestyle sometimes can be a little discouraging, but I've learned to not let that get to me as much.
Yeah, like some of the things too that I noticed that a relationship can do to probably improve is, and it kind of ties down a little bit to that language, like to that love language. But food is actually a good way to build a relationship, because if you're cooking it, both of you could cook it. Input on like, oh, you know what? Let me get this or let me get that. If you're just eating it, I mean,
Just sitting down together eating.
sitting down and together just eating, but just make sure, you know, you make use of that time. You know, hey, how was your day, or how do you know, talk about your goals or what y'all want to do, what y'all gonna do for the next week, plan things. So food is a really good way to like help build that relationship.
That, and also doing things, I think, like spending time together.
Yep.
I think what helps a lot of couples that have kids already is just you and him time, you know, not necessarily having to go on a date, you know, just go to the gym together, go for a walk together, just anything that just involves you guys alone together, I think will really help build that relationship. Because a lot of times we get, you know, there are kids, obviously we get so involved with that when we're with the kids, we're focused on the kids. You know, you don't focus on necessarily on your significant other. So I think, you know, time to yourselves, you know, with each other, it's pretty good. Like, we need to go back to the Katy Trail. When we went to the Katy Trail, it was pretty nice.
Have you guys been to Katy Trail? That's a good little spot. We used to go to this park that they just built over there by 20. Oh, in COVID, look, I'm not saying that COVID was great because so many negatives about COVID, but I think one of the pluses that I saw about COVID was just having to learn and live with whoever it was that you were living with. There was no power. No, sorry, not COVID, but sorry, not that there wasn't power, but what's that word I'm looking for? Where you had to stay in one place, like you were ordered to like
the lockdown, like you were. What was it called?
the lock. Yeah, there was a word, right? Like
No, that was a word. What's that damn word?
Somebody comment that word we're looking for. Where you're like you had to stay inside the house.
Hey, what was it called?
It's like a lockdown, like another word for lockdown.
Yeah, but they used the word for it since it was a pandemic. Like, well,
Quarantine. Quarantine. You had to be quarantined. I heard some people had to like leave each other. Some people like broke up and they separated because they found out who they really were. And, you know, obviously being for like, 30 days and plus, you know, you start learning who that person is, you know, like, wow, like they're that ugly or they're that beautiful. Or,
not ugly. What do you mean?
I mean, as far as like a personality wise.
Personality-wise. I know, like, our friends were over yesterday, Kathy and Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
Kathy was like, you know, she made this, said this phrase that my mom would always tell me, you know, when I was younger. Like, nunca terminas de conocer a una persona. Like, ever. Because just like you, that person is constantly changing, you know. So when you're in a relationship, I know sometimes like I feel like sometimes people rush into marriage, because obviously like the first year or two of a marriage is like very, what do you call it? Like it's like the honeymoon stage, like you're on lovey-dovey.
Puppy love.
Like the puppy love stage. And you love this person and, you know, you only see this person here and there, you know, you're not living with this person. So once you get married and, you know, you're finally living with this person, you get to really see who this person is. You know, you get to see them at their worst, at their best. And it's like, some people don't like you at your worst, you know, and I think that takes a lot.
Churros,
I think churros, yeah. You want a churro already?
I'm going.
Okay. And that's one of the things I think some people don't like you at your worst. And, you know, I think during COVID, a lot of people had to see that from their significant other, like the worst times. And I think one thing that was the worst was like he said, we were quarantined. You couldn't go anywhere. Like everything was closed. The only thing you could really do was parks. And even then they would try to tell you like you shouldn't really be at the park when there's so many people. So, you know, just living at home with that person literally 24/7 is what caused people to like separate. Because again, like a lot of us, when, you know, you go to work, you come home, you're on your phone, you're not even communicating with this person. You don't know what this person really likes, what they really do throughout the day. And when COVID happened and we were forced to quarantine, a lot of people learned that that's not who the person they wanted to be with, and that's sad.
I stayed productive with her, like during those times. Let's go work out. Let's go to the park. We took walks. We
That's when
rode
we got
bikes.
heavy on working out.
We tried to do a lot, like, and then obviously we kept, you know, going out limited, you know, just for our necessities or supplies. But I enjoyed it. I actually had a good time, you know, going and doing things with them, and it was a good little, kind of, you know, a good little experience. Learned a lot about her. Be spontaneous. That's something that would also help out. Is let's say, you know, you're not sure about what y'all want to do, but try to like do like date nights, you know, like surprise one another. If, hey, let's go do this, let's go do that. Even if it's something like small, it may not be expensive, but hey, you know, if it's not taking her out to eat, try to do, you know, do rock climbing, you know, the most random thing ever, you know, zip lining. You know, there's some trails, hiking, camping. It takes that small little effort to do. That's kind of something that I want to also
I think just doing
implement.
something together.
Yeah, I mean, it could even be at home. We did a puzzle together as a family. That thing was so fun. I mean, I was focused. I was locked in trying to figure out this fish puzzle. It took us what, 3 days, 2 days? Like 2 days to knock that puzzle out. It was pretty fun though. A lot of these board games too, just the simple things, you know, like that. Watching movies is not really like something that I would say to do just
Because it's not
because.
for everybody.
Well, I mean, technically, I mean, what are you doing in the movie? You're not really like learning about them. You're just kind of, I mean, like you're spending time
Yeah.
together, but you're not really doing anything.
You can cuddle. That I like to cuddle. That's weird, right? I like to cuddle, but I don't like to like really be touched.
Well, the reason why she likes to cuddle is because when she farts, it comes out on my end, and I'm the one that gets all hit with the backdraft.
But yeah, just doing something together. Would take me a very, and I still work through it. It's like, you know, we both love our kids. We love them a lot, you know.
We don't love them that much. We do not love our kids that much. I'm just kidding.
We love them a lot. But you also have to think it's like your kids are going to grow up and they're going to leave. They're going to build their own families and they're going to leave you. And at the end, it's going to be who? You and him. Y'all together. We used to, some of our arguments, I think majority of our arguments were about like kids because, you know, everybody has different parenting. Everybody was
Hey,
raised
check this out,
differently.
guys. Sheesh. What y'all know about this? Hey, drop in the comments what you think this is. What is this? Drop in the comments. What is this? Let's see if y'all know your foods. I'm about to tear it up too. What the hell?
Made me forget what I was saying.
About the kids. They're gonna grow up. First bite.
Some of our arguments were, well, majority of our arguments were that, like kids, you know, agreeing, disagreeing. No, I don't get one right now. About certain things that he wanted to do,
You
and I
wanna
was
go
like,
have on
no, I don't want that, or I don't want this. No, not yet. I want,
Oh, you want a full one though,
I
right?
want, no, I want it.
No, we know her. She wants a full one.
I want to continue with my burrito. But you know, thinking about that, like, you know, I started thinking like, yes, I love my kids and everything, but I think at the end of the day, like, my relationship with him should be the most important thing, because at the end of the day, that's the foundation of our family. You know, if we're not good, this family is not going to be good. Because no matter how hard you try, if you don't have a good foundation with your significant other, your family is not going to strive. And eventually your kids get older, you know, your kids are young for so little that you're thinking like, oh, they're not going to notice this. But eventually they get older, they start noticing, you know, if you're not happy, if dad's not happy, and you don't want that, you know, you want to raise your kids with a good foundation. And I think it's just working with each other to get that.
And then, if you were to give somebody advice, like, what are some things that could actually tear relationships? What are like some mistakes that it's an innocent mistake, but just by overlooking it, you know, just like you could probably prevent it. Just not.
I think opening up to other people, like
That's really smart.
inviting other people's opinions into your relationship. I think that's, a lot of times we don't think it's like, you know, a lot of people don't do it with the bad intention. Sometimes they just want advice, which is totally fine, right? But I think going to other people and venting about every argument you're having with your significant other, it's not good, you know, because I also don't think you're gonna tell that person both sides of the story. You're probably just gonna tell them how you're feeling and what you're going through. You're probably gonna get the wrong, feedback. They're probably gonna tell you, oh, you should leave that person, you shouldn't be with that person, or like I said, you're inviting other people's opinions into a relationship that is between you and him. You know, I think you should talk about your problems. Like I said, sometimes it's hard because sometimes we need that person to just listen to us and stuff, you know. But I think if maybe just finding that one specific person, like a best friend or anybody, you know, that you could just vent to about, you know, how you feel sometimes, it would be good. But when you're going around telling like everybody, like if you're at a random party, you know, with just friends that are not super close, and you're saying, well, in my relationship it's like this, it's like that, it's, you never know who's out there wishing you the worst, and you're already letting them into, you know some things about your relationship. I think that's one thing, like just knowing that, you know, a relationship is between you two, not inviting other people's opinions into your relationship. It's a big one.
That's actually, yeah, that's true. I feel like a lot of people also, like even if you do the for the right reasons, like if you're just doing praises or just talking really great, and then some people might not even like that. They're like, oh wow, like this person this, and then it just goes completely south, right? Like you're giving good praises, you're talking good about it, and then maybe like not necessarily like jealousy, but it's like almost like, wow, like there's other people
they're
that,
envious.
Yeah, like that's a really good one. I like that. So and then they start like not necessarily like wishing about it, but like they'll talk like what comes out would be negative or it won't be that good or whatever, right? So that's another thing to like watch out for, you know, like it's just not, you know, not all that. And then it also ties back down to like you know, social media again. Like a lot of people, you know, will present something and it's not true, you know.
And we base ourselves on what we're seeing. We're like, oh, that's a perfect couple. You know, they're so awesome together. Like, I have seen firsthand couples that on social media I would be like, wow, like they were the perfect couple, and then they end up getting divorced, separated, and then they're like spilling the beans about how their relationship was really, you know, it really was. And I was like, oh wow, like
Yeah.
I didn't see that through, you know, pictures and videos that you would post. Like I was just seeing like all happiness and stuff, because again, people post only what we want other people to see, you know. We don't post all the negative stuff, which it's fine, you know, nobody wants to see all the bad stuff, but it's like, don't base yourself on other people's relationship on what you see. Yeah,
that's true. And then also, I think what's super hard too, and everybody's gonna have this issue that could ruin relationships, but it does go back to what she was saying earlier, which is the whole communication thing. Because, man, that thing is just like us men, like for men, and you know, I'm gonna be saying majority of men, because there's some people that are like in the gender side, that is considered a male, but not all, you know, genders that are males
think that way,
think like a man, or are really actually in fact men because of their priorities or who they, you know, what they're doing. So, you know, like as a man, it's like your job to, like, you know, be the protector, the provider, the leader, you know. What's another one? Somebody give me some more little ideas or reasons. So like, but I mean those top, I think those top ones are really good, you know, like the provider, protector, and the leader, you know, obviously going down the right path, you know. So whenever it comes down to like language and stuff, you know, we're very simple, and women obviously have their own role and their own path, right? They do it differently, because they're not going to ever, you know, women and men are going to be always in their own lanes. They're not going to think the way, you know, others, like the other gender would think. So it's our job to figure it out, right? It's like a puzzle. You got to figure out how, or, you know, what, right? You can request, you can ask to make things simpler, or, you know, for your liking. But at the end of the day, that's not, you know, how each of us are like designed to be, you know. So it's mistakes are going to happen. So it also brings down to another point, which is like forgiveness and mistakes, you know, like mistakes and errors are going to always happen. The only thing is like the battle and the finding out the balance, like how many times, you know, like
how you move from that.
Yeah, like how many times until it's like, okay, it's kind of getting old, you know. you don't want to continue having the same error over and over and over. It's like, oh, hey, I'm sorry I cheated on you. And then it's like, okay, I'll forgive you. And then you move on and then you go on and do it again. And then it's like, wow, like we just talked about that and you said you're this and that. And like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. I'm going to do it again. And then next thing you know, yo, I'm sorry I did it again. I cheated on you. Like, okay, like, you know, that's something that you know, you're just like you're not getting it as a person.
Which for me,
you
it's
know
like,
what I'm saying?
sometimes I think, right, because I've heard of people that have gone through that and have continuously like just kept getting back with their partner. It's like, for what? Like how am I trying to say? Like, first of all, why is that person even? Why do you keep, like, if you're the cheater, right? Why do you keep asking for forgiveness? Why do you keep saying sorry, but you keep making the same mistake and staying with this person? Like, clearly you don't love this person. Clearly this is not who you want to be with. So why keep putting this person through the same thing over and over? Like, does that not make you feel like a crappy person?
Yeah.
For yourself? Like, you know, you keep doing this and over. Like, just let the person go. Let the person go. Like, why do you have her there? If you're going to keep, like, to me, it's like you're living a whole second life. Like, you're hiding things.
Aren't you like? Wouldn't you get tired? Like,
yeah, like
to do the
constantly
extra,
hiding things. Like the extra mile. Like, when am I going to see this person? When am I going to talk to this person?
you got to cover your tracks. And it's like, you know, then you're like,
it's so much work. But to me, it's just like, if you're the cheater, like, once, okay, whatever. We all make mistakes. We're all human. Twice, bro. Like, at this point, what are you doing? You don't love this person. Third time, yeah, you're done.
And then think about it. There's like different age groups too, you know. So like, you got teenagers, you got, you know, like adults, and then you got like, you know, I would say just old people. You know what I'm saying? It's like, also it's like, you're learning, right? You're in the beginning stages. Like, I mean, you know, you're young. You know, I get it. It's like. And I'm not. Remember, don't get me wrong. I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying this is okay. What I'm trying to like explain is just, you know, the forgiveness and understanding.
I think you're trying to say, like, as a young person, it's kind of like acceptable or something.
No. It's not acceptable. What I'm saying is, it's almost expected because a person's trying things out, but it's not okay. It's not okay. It's not justifiable. You know, not once would it be something that, you know.
But then, yeah, it's crazy. Like, you see, like, 40-something-year-olds, 50-something-year-olds doing this, and I'm like,
see, now that's what I was getting at. Was like, what? Okay, like, you would hear common stories of cheating, like, from younger people, but as you get older, that's when you're kind of like, man, what are you doing with your life? Like, you're already hitting 20s, 30s, like 40s, you know, like, and you're still doing this, like, dang, like, all right, like, come on now, like, you know, that's kind of what I was getting at. But also, yeah, but like, also when it comes to like the forgiveness, like, what in a relationship you're gonna run into errors and mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's how you handle them and how you come about handling that result, right? It's like, okay, boom, they did an error. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna yell at them? Is that gonna help? Or are you gonna get pissed off? And is that gonna help? Like, it might temporarily fix your emotion just because you're really angry and you feel like if you yell, you feel like good about it, maybe.
Better or something.
Better about it. Or like, it's like a punching bag, right? Like when you got stressed, you want to punch the bag, right? And then you're yelling and like, okay, but at the end of the day, like, is that problem even fixed? Did y'all get anywhere?
I just realized that I ate this whole burrito. But you know why? I was like, dang, like, I ate this whole thing. I only ate breakfast. Because earlier, remember, I told you I was going to make huevo with...
Oh, you didn't make anything?
With pico de gallo. I washed the pots and stuff, and then I put them in the dishwasher to dry.
But you had that quesadilla with the frijoles. Remember that plate, that big plate? The quesadillas with frijoles? She had a quesadilla with frijoles, gang.
¿Cuál quesadilla with frijoles? That was yesterday, boy.
You ate that this morning, girl, and you ate that burrito, and you ate chips, and had snacks.
You're lying, babe. I'm just lavar las cosas de la estufa. But anyway, sorry to cut you off.
I just lied about the way it looks like.
No, earlier you were saying, cut you off. You were saying about like people.
No, yeah, but I mean, so forgiveness is key, and how you forgive them is is gonna be like where it counts. Because I've noticed that whenever I hold my emotion, and if you're holding that emotion and you're like, all right, you know what, let me hold that emotion, I'll get mad and I'll get pissed and I'll just be like, okay, let me calm down. And she'll check me. She'll just be like, why are you yelling at me? Or why are you talking to me like in that kind of tone? And she'll check me and I'll just be like damn, she's right. So then I'll stop and then I'll ask like, okay, why did this and this and this happen? And then it's like, and then one thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if it's all women, but one thing that I noticed about
You're like,
her.
but it's my woman.
One thing that I noticed about her is like, she won't answer the question, and I don't know why, but she'll say something else or go around it. But I'll just be like, before we go into that, let's first take it step by step, which is how like you should handle things. Like take it step by step. Don't go.
What do you mean?
Don't go into different conversations if the first one hasn't been handled yet. Like if you're talking about a dog, and then the person goes and starts talking about
I had a cat.
Like a cat. You gotta finish talking about the dog until you move into the cat conversation. Okay, it's just that simple. That's just what I was getting at. Was like forgiveness comes with a lot of patience, and make sure you have a lot of patience and making sure you have a lot of understanding, but take it step by step.
But I guess that's where it comes down to. Like, I mean, I know people. There are some very few people that like if you cheat on them once, they're not going back to you. Like they're done.
Exactly.
And I honestly give praise to those people. Like I feel like those people are very mentally strong, because I feel like when you forgive a cheating, it's your heart talking to you. It's your heart, like you love that person. You want to be there. And like I said, like there's few people that if you cheat on them once, they're done. And like I said, praise to those people because they're very strong-minded. But that's another thing where trust. You know how I said, like I think trust is a big thing in a relationship. I think once you ruin that, it's gonna take patience. A lot of patience. If you're the cheater and this person's forgiving you, you have to be patient with the trust process, because at that point you no longer have their trust. They're not going to trust you if you tell them, hey, I'm just going to run to the store, or I'm just going to go do this. Like that person's not going to be okay here, thinking like they're going to be making up stories in their head, thinking like they're probably doing this, they're probably doing that.
And then it just goes worse.
And then it just goes worse, because you're arguing about stupid things that could have been, easily avoided. And I think as the person forgiving a cheating, you also have to kind of go in with the mentality of, okay, I chose, to be with this person. Like, I know it's, they say I forgive, but don't forget. It's fine. You can't just easily forget someone that hurt you. I don't think anybody ever forgets about those things, things that scar you and hurt you. But you also, as that person that's accepting that, person that cheated on you, you have to go in with the mind of, I decided to give this person another chance. I decided to go on with this, so as much as that other person has to be patient with you, you yourself have to be, I guess, patient with that other person too, because you're the one that decided that, you were going to give it another go.
And yeah, and then, man, I want to touch a topic too, and we'll probably do that on another episode. But
why are you trying to leave already?
now we actually hit our 45, and that's we haven't hit that marker in a minute. But one of the topics that I wanted to touch too is like lust. When it comes down to that, like that one's a tough one. Handling that in public, handling that in.
I didn't want to reproduce a little bit.
Yeah, like in a very basic, but. That one's a big one when it comes to relationships.
So we can talk about like lust and love, like what's the difference?
Because that one's also a big factor in the relationship. Especially with trying to understand each other. But that'll end it for this episode, guys. Man, I'm stuffed. I'm about to relax and chill. I got a couple hours.
We gotta cook for the week.
Oh my God, we gotta prep. Hey. Next time we'll probably do a prep next week. We'll talk and then do of us meal prepping for the week, because meal prepping is kind of fun. As far as like
says no one ever. I'm just kidding.
It is fun. I'm about to enjoy this.
We used to. Well, remember when Marlene and
Yeah.
Jaime used to come? We had
Marlene, yeah, we had
friends that used to
Marlene and
come
Jaime
with
would come over and we would actually cook and do some meal prepping for the week.
us. Marlene and I would cook while Oliver and Jaime watched the kids.
And
The kids were younger, you have to watch
yeah,
them.
they were. But other than that, guys, appreciate you for tuning in. Peace.
Bye.